You're listening to Thinking Out Loud, where two buddies nip it right in, ranting over topics about humans and their humanities and sometimes their lack thereof. Topics as diverse and colorful as their race and humor that tickle their curious, peculiar bones. And would yours too if you think along. One's a budding psychologist, and another's a psychological case. Hop in the whirlpool of worldly ventures. You're invited. So, in the previous episode, we spoke about our personal experience during this lockdown, the social changes that we saw, the environmental reactions, and we ended with introducing a little bit about minimalism. Now, let's continue with the conversation.
Your
Ju- Just to interrupt you in like for a while, I have been living and a very very strong supporter of the minimalist life. Yeah, so that is like I totally agree with you. मिनिमल लाइफस्टाइल से देखा जाए तो अपना ये हर्मेटिक लाइफ जो है दैट इज द बेस्ट in my personal opinion, like ascetics life. But yeah, carry on. Like I don't have any like anything more to
some people may be born ascetic.
say.
Some
Mm-hmm.
people may be that way. Not everyone is, but I like a guy who lived in a village
Mm-hmm.
with his lifestyle, with his gao and gobar and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was not an ascetic. He was living, but he was living with such less than what we have. Still living a life which he can call life.
Mm-hmm.
Close to nature, abundant with nature, with
Mm-hmm.
his own hard work and labor, which is good exercise and a very peaceful sleep and eating healthy food because they don't have junk food. They were also living the life of needs. I think minimalism is basically live a life of needs. And उसके ऊपर थोड़े बहुत अगर तुमको interest है चलो उसमें चले जाओ, but don't do it at the cost of your needs, your
I,
basic needs.
I totally agree. I had this argument with one of my seniors, senior as in एक भैया थे, and we were arguing about the difference between needs and wants, because need
Uh-huh.
is something that you cannot do without, but
Right.
want what you wish for, what you like, these are things that you can leave it. हाँ, बाद में it is, those things
If
are
you
not
didn't even
necessary.
know them, you do not even want them.
Exactly. Wants and
You
need
know,
differentiation is very very important for, as you said, to live a life of minimalism. And in fact, अगर देखा जाए, so how should we associate minimalism with the current scenario? Let's see. How can we do that?
before that, like when your friend said about needs and wants becoming needs, so
Mm-hmm.
there's this another word called necessities.
Necessity. Okay.
And what I have understood from that word is that
Mm-hmm.
something may not be needed right now, but may be necessary because of the context we have found ourselves in.
Hmm.
For example, technology has necessity now.
Hmm.
Although, to be honest, there could have been a time when we could have said नहीं हम टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसा बढ़ाएंगे नहीं, हम नहीं जरूरत है इतना भी नहीं, या बहुत बहुत कम टाइप का टेक्नोलॉजी बनाएंगे, ऐसे नहीं बनाएंगे, तभी भी we were living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Needs, I think, are very fixed natural things which we really cannot do away with.
Mm-hmm.
Necessities are contextual. I think something which starts as a want can become a necessity later on,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't need wars, we don't need weapons, ammunition, defense, but वो तो बोलने की बात है. If you look at the current scenario, probably it is a necessity to have a defense line of defense,
Mm-hmm.
ammunitions, and all of that. So much money spent or tax money spent on keeping armies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a necessity. I think wants do become that way, and that is why it is so necessary to be mindful of what wants we are entertaining, because maybe they can become such necessities which are unnecessary, or which are necessary evil rather.
So what you're saying is understanding what is necessary, what is a necessity. Like understanding the concept of necessity is important. Then need, yeah, as you said, it
Yeah,
is something we
need,
cannot do
necessity, and
without.
desires.
Necessity and desires. The Correct.
Need, necessity, and desire. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think those are like the most basic and like needs to survive and needs that we have to fulfill to thrive. These two words that I've come across, survive and thrive. One that helps you to stay in this body somehow, in this earth. Another which helps you to feel alive, full of life. Make it worth, like somewhere Maslow, humanistic, and John Paul Sartre and these people's existentialism, it coincides. So these existential needs are there, like what we need in our life to feel like our life is worth living, like that experience, that energy within us. You asked a question about how we can associate this to the present situation.
Yes, minimalism in the present situation. How is it useful, and how let's look at both ways. How minimalism will be useful in current situation in tackling the lockdown life, and how it is going to negatively affect. So positive and negative. Let's look at both. Let's just take some create some scenarios. Yeah, you go first.
What I think is, again, if you say that there could be a negative effect of minimalism also, it would be if people are being stupid with it. Otherwise minimalism means जितना जरूरी है उतना करो, उसके बाद भी अगर फुर्सत है और जरूरत और अगर थोड़ा सा entertainment है तो maybe you take a little more money than you need to earn, a little more space for your house than you need, a little more clothes. And you're speaking out clothes, right? So from clothes I remember, suddenly I remembered कि fashion industry, the fast fashion industry is the second highest pollutant in the world, and pollution has been coming down since lockdown. So if minimalism does come to people's life, they understand कितना जरूरी था, कितना नहीं है, कितना travel actually जरूरी था, and कितने लोग सच में कार खरीदने की जरूरत थे. Could we have asked the government and participated in making a public transport better so that people could feel good in the public transport, feel assured, and then they would not have to use their private vehicles so much till electric vehicles don't come on. And कितने कम कपड़ों के साथ भी you are living, right? कपड़े actually जरूरी पड़ ही जाते क्योंकि बाहर जा रहे. Have you thought about it? नहीं तो इतने कौन से जरूरी है? अब मैं तो I'm half I'm just wearing the lower half. That too because there are people in the house.
Bhai, I stay alone, so I just have to close door and I can walk around naked in my room. That's how it is.
Already getting the visual.
So yeah, yes, I totally agree. Both correct.
Yeah. So airplanes तो अभी नहीं हो रहे, नहीं चल रहे, and they are the biggest pollutants of biggest users of fossil fuels. Even if नीचे वाले vehicles become electric, airplanes are not going to be electric any soon, are not going to be solar any soon. They will require fossil fuel, but because उनका कम हो गया, and I think even cruise ships कम हो गए, particularly commercial cruise, which is another very big pollutant.
Correct.
All of the big machines which use fossil fuels and the fast fashion industry both have seen a decline, because of which I think pollution इतना कम हो गया है. So minimalism will tell you कि हमारे excess use की वजह से nature पे क्या toll पड़ा. If the consumer is minimalist, the economy will also I think automatically become minimalist.
Definitely.
It will not focus.
Right?
Not focus on splurging.
Yes. Minimalist का जो idea है, तो बोलना तो नहीं चाहिए, but लोग दिखावा बहुत करना चाहते हैं. तो ये जो दिखावा, this showing off, and when this showing off, when this is going to end or it's controlled to some extent, the consumer, as you said, will become very, very minimal. Because in Delhi, from what I know, and other metropolitan cities, even in Pune also, हर घर में एक बाइक, एक कार, और अगर बहुत अमीर हुए तो 2 बाइक, एक SUV और एक कार होता है. क्यों चाहिए इतना? What is the need? Why do you need so many vehicles in one house जहाँ पे 4 या 5 लोग रहते हैं? एक एसयूवी में 12 लोग आ जाते हैं, 12 people can fit in one SUV एडजस्ट करके. So why do you need all those vehicles? कपड़े कहाँ जाना है, where do you need to go, where do you occasionally interact with, what kind of social situations do you engage in. You are a frequent party goer, keep at least 3 different pairs, because you aren't going to have a party every night जो 12 या 6 अलग अलग पार्टी ब्लेजर्स या कोट्स खरीदोगे. My personal opinion, the quantity that I am giving, and it's just the scenario. एक base example दे रहा हूँ. 3 रखो जूता. फिर of course if you're an office going person, you'll have to have some formal meeting shirts. Casual meeting के लिए अलग एक रख दो if there is a chance for that. Then घर पे रहने के लिए there are, you can wear anything. As you said, you are just wearing a lower half, even you can do that. But understanding those necessities now, and I am going to use this word a lot now because of because of the necessity of this word. So
Yeah.
understanding those necessities at a very personal level. The examples that you gave at a global level, perfect. Yes, minimalism is one of the most important factors which is going to cut off the whole pollution of the world. Definitely. Even at personal level, a lot of cluttering of objects and things around your house, जो hoarding का problem है, one of the like very very common behavior of a human being, hoarding things, ये कम हो जाएगा. And unnecessary things जो घर पे पड़े रहेंगे, ये कम हो जाएगा. And of course, having unnecessary things around is an example of chaos in your own personal space, and that kind of a chaos is of course going to manifest in your other spaces of your life if your own personal space is in chaos.
Mentally. Right.
Exactly. So क्या बोलते हैं वो? Do you know Jordan Peterson, the Canadian psychologist? Of course, you
Yes.
sent that video, man. Zizek versus Peterson. Yes, you know. So Peterson's book, 12 Rules of
Put
Life.
your house in order.
Sorry, you were saying?
You put your house in order before you
Yes.
go out. Right.
That particular example. It is important for you to put your own house in order before you go out and keep other things in order too. So yeah, anyways, it does affect. So minimalism in current scenario of a lockdown is going to affect a lot of people. In fact, जो अभी घर पे खुद हैं और they have to make do with the fewest resources around them. इधर भी इनको क्या necessity है, they have to look into it. And it's all about knowing about yourself, yeah, in the end. How much you actually need and how much you actually want, what kind of a person you are, being aware of that, being mindful of that. In the end, that is how you will be able to go through this lockdown.
We have a limited amount of time and energy every day. And what we make of it, how much space we keep for the very simple and profound things of life. So coming to this psychological part, we all are actually, from what I see and I have read, we all are seekers of joy. We all want a deep, lasting joy in our life, perpetually. With sort of a few bumps here and there is fine, but nobody wants to live in misery. Want to live in joy. And I remember reading somewhere, relaxation is joy, tension is misery. So a person who lives a life of constant tension, of chasing away from this and chasing towards something else which is not there right now, and not just enjoying the present moment or the present day. Maybe not every moment you enjoy, but every day there may be some time, some activity or no activity you are in where you just relax. Like if you even take 1 hour every day, just set it out only for relaxing and nothing else. It has such good benefits. It has such good benefits that if people did that, their incidence of mental issues would go down a lot. If they already have it, then probably they should go for some therapy and then make this a part of their life. relaxing around nature. Like right now, when I'm speaking to you, I'm standing out my window. Really cool, really relaxing and pleasant breeze just flew away, and I'm like, these are those few moments, these are those few things that life needs.
Yeah,
You don't need
I agree to that. In fact,
anything. Right?
right now, you, of course, like you must be knowing how horrible Delhi's summers are.
Yes.
Surprisingly,
Even the
in Delhi right now,
yeah.
it's raining and it's windy the whole day.
Oh, amazing,
अभी रुक
amazing.
वो पुणे रुक, मैं तुझे दिल्ली का अभी टेम्परेचर बताता हूँ. 33 degrees Celsius with cloudy. It's 33 right now. And this was 2 years back that I'm saying 50 degrees Celsius.
Just half boiled.
Exactly. Half boiled पे हम लोग रह रहे थे. 50 degrees Celsius in the month of May. And now it is
And
freaking 33.
yeah,
Just look at
all these things,
yeah. Please.
they affect anything which affects us biologically also. It affects us on a very deep level. A temperature going up so much is going to make people really unpleasant.
These are used in a lot of organizational psychology, na? The kind of environment that you have is going to affect the kind of productivity your employees will give out.
Your social and biological environment, yes.
Yes. So the organization, that is why the organizational spaces that are created are pleasant so that the productivity of those employees can become more. So as you said,
And this should become ekdam widespread knowledge that your home should be like this, that you feel pleasant inside it. And the city should be like this, and the earth should be like this, so that people don't have to suffer so much temperature. And like this is again why we chase things that we didn't need as a collective. This is why we were getting in an increasingly fucked up scenario, like because now there is an economic degrowth. People are not doing as much as they were. Unnecessary activities are gone down.
Yes.
That is why we are getting to see better temperature, better environment, which is one of the things that make our life rich. Is a good, natural, rich environment, isn't it?
Correct.
These are the few things we need to enjoy in life. So coming back to that point, that we're chasing joy, like we want joy. Joy comes through just living a relaxed life and having these few avenues like adequate nutritious food, which is easy to make as long as you control the population and focus on it, right? Very, very important part that was. And the second, even in population minimalism नहीं है ना, उसमें भी
population में भी correct यार. Population भी साला India is in the second place. वही तो उधर भी minimalism हो जाना चाहिए.
And secondly, and if there are people who have purchasing power and they've been told you should purchase a lot, they will purchase a lot. And अगर purchase कर रहे तो demand है तो supply आएगा जिनको capitalize करना situation.
Yes.
So if as a collective we have this principle, this way of living, which is very Zen in its way. When Zen was something in its time, Zen, it has to become a more global thing now. We have to look into these ancient wisdom sources and learn from them.
Yes.
We don't need so much. And jitne need hai, they are enough to help us have a not very pleasure oriented life, but a meaningful, joyous life. In almost every industry.
But then pleasure is actually so you had suggested me to listen to History on Fire, right?
History
on Fire, okay. Yes. So मैंने सुना and I was listening to the Zen monk EQ. EQ Zen monks, his life history life history as in the whole storytelling of on that podcast. So finding pleasure can also be done in everyday life while fulfilling those needs itself. And EQ, in a way, he very well exemplified that through finding pleasure in everyday activity of fulfilling his own needs.
Like,
One of the most basic way of getting pleasure is sex itself and engaging in the
yeah,
activity of sex, and it is considered to be the highest form of pleasure, other than, like, because
physically.
literally also have, physically also have, even mentally it is very very pleasurable. Just thinking about it, people will start getting horny and all. So even EQ, when he would have conversations or look for work, do any kind of activity, he gave his whole heart into it. And why he did those activity was to earn his basic needs. भाई खाने पीने के लिए पैसे चाहिए तो कुछ काम करना
Right.
पड़ेगा, और वो काम जिस तरह का वो काम कर रहा है, उस काम में he started looking for pleasures, he started enjoying those activities.
Okay, so I am interested in this EQ story that you have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was saying that, yeah, we can go ahead, do the things that our life needs.
Mm-hmm.
Work is one of them, and whatever work, if possible,
Mm-hmm.
then finding a work that is in field of your talent that you enjoy. But
Mm-hmm.
if not, then whatever work you are doing, like, it's not always necessary that people find their talent or that they enjoy it or that they even are able to make an income out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they find something else. They can do it in a really they can do it in a way which brings them joy, and then take some time out in the day to indulge in a hobby which is only for the sake of itself, which is only for the sake of joy.
Yes, yes. Work and hobby,
Right?
correct, definitely.
Right?
Yes.
If the hobby can be work, great. Otherwise, make time for these two.
Hmm. Hmm. Work,
And the other thing
hobby,
being, if you're
yes, the
eating,
difference. Correct. Eating is again
eating
one of the
food,
most pleasurable activities, yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
you need it, but you can make it a pleasurable experience also.
Of course. That is why people
And
indulge
because of
in exotic food. Why? Because it gives
oh
them
yeah, and that is one of the things that fucked us over. But um,
true, man, true.
that's again because of mindlessness in the way interacting with the animal
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
You know, I was reading there are still more than 1.5 million viruses yet to be discovered. No, that there are already there in the animal world, which
Mhm.
we can always come in contact with, and they can mutate and they can zoonotically affect human beings also.
Mm.
1.5 million, even now.
We are
So
fucked. We are fucked. Don't worry about that.
humans are not carnivorous, but still we can eat. But then be quite very careful with it.
Mhm.
This want for exotic food is unnecessary because that food may not even agree with your body.
Mhm. I
Minimalism comes here. You can just make your regular food pleasurable and you can indulge in it with all your senses. You know why Indians used to eat with bare hands rather than forks and chopsticks and anything?
the
So that you can
hands.
enjoy it that much more,
Yes.
right?
The touching of the food, the warmth of the food, and like,
Yeah.
to heighten the
And the
whole
taste of your own
experience.
finger,
Mm.
I experience, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, and these are simple pleasures. You want pleasure, then seek simple pleasures because this whole world, some of the most non-need based
Mm.
business, like businesses which are in the energy field, they are needs. वो
Mm.
जरूरी है. Pharmaceuticals are needs. But then there are and education and these things like that. But then there are industries which are not just fulfilling your needs, or rather not at all fulfilling your needs. They're just giving you something to entertain yourself with, like
Mhm.
entertainment content, like junk food and beverages, like
Mhm.
clubs that invite that are there for night time. And I think if you've seen all these technological devices and automobiles,
Mm.
सबका काम एक ही है, but the way they are designed
Mm.
and the things that they provide, the things that you functions that you can do with them, and even this aspect of status that comes with owning something like an iPhone or
Mm.
like a
Mm.
Porsche,
Yes.
all of these appeal to some very unnecessary things.
I
So I
I
think the way they show off their maximalism If there is a need, because people they get on with trends, yeah. If minimalism is a trend, then people will show off that कि मेरे पास कितना कम है, I decluttered so much, देखो मेरा खाली कमरा, देखो मैंने जाके ये सब donate किया है. That could become a show off, but at least it will work in some positive way maybe.
Correct.
Again, this quarantine can have a very good, very insightful क्या बोलते हैं, awareness for people that it is the way we are. We can change ourselves individually, and then collectively it will change. Again, that same thing. Put your house in order, and then what Zizek says, we have to put society in order also. So yeah, put yourself in order quick. Go put society in order also, because you are also a part of that society.
Yes.
So all this awareness about mental health coming in, and minimalism, कितने कम में हम जी सकते हैं, ज़्यादा अच्छा जी सकते हैं. Because if there are too many things, there is tension also. There is comparison also. That is not good for health. That is not good for enjoyment. If we have just enough to live by, and we have an art of enjoying things like EQ did, like Epicurus did, like just enjoying the simple needs of our lives, then it is good for our mental stability. It is good for our health. Then we become healthy individuals of society, and then the society becomes a healthy place to live in.
Exactly.
And then we make better decisions for society with the environment, with technology.
So let's, as you said, let's wrap up the whole point. We began about talking our own personal experiences, and we then started talking about how health and psychology are related because of the changes that we were all experiencing. Then we went into needs and necessities. Needs, necessities, desires, then which led us to minimalism, where we saw, or where we shared our point of how minimalism is one of the most important factors in the current lockdown and everything which is going around today in the world, and which led us to finding joy and simple pleasures in everyday life.
Just one thing that your friend spoke, how being mindful helped him be aware of others also and change his ways. This is one guy's personal change, that when he saw he has time to sit and meditate, he became more mindful about himself. And naturally, if he's aware about himself, he became aware of others also, because that same observation that he was giving himself, now he's giving others, and his own actions and his relationships with people, and how he can have less fight and more peaceful interactions.
Exactly.
We can fulfill our life's most basic things in a very sustainable, easy, simple way. There are always many ways to solve, to fulfill ourselves, and we can choose the best one, the most humane and responsible way. And if one personal change can help a person to change the other things of his life also, his interactions with others, just this much, if this quarantine can help us with, to help everybody become more mindful about their actions, the impact of their actions individually, and then obviously collectively, because we all are collective when we are together. If it can just help us in becoming mindful and understanding how much less life needs, and what really makes a life healthy, what really makes us healthy physically and mentally, and then how our own change inside will help us, like putting our house in order will help us to bring more order to the bigger world around us. I think that will be a great impact that lockdown has.
Definitely. So I guess lockdown, ending it in a very positive note, it's about changing and looking at the dirt in your own house and cleaning it up. So I think this is a good time to end. इधर wrap up कर लेते पूरा. Join us in a new conversation on the next episode. Thank you for listening to Thinking Out Loud.